Hey guys, just a little reflection on last night's amazing gathering and experience. Yeah, so essentially, you know, this idea of waking life or dream life, just a couple of thoughts on that. This really is a dream, but it's not fantasy for one thing. So, difference between dream and fantasy. How fantasy would be whatever I imagine happens, like poof, magic, and I can make anything happen at any time, have complete omnipotence. It's like some sort of fantasy where you're God. It's a God fantasy where your whole reality is made from wishes. Everything you wish actually happens. Well, that's a fantasy. That's not reality. What we have is something much, much more amazing than that. Because that actually is quite boring. That means that you're only going to get what you want. So you're limited by your wants. That's the catch there. And most people think success is you designate what you want, and then if you get what you want, you're a success. If you don't get what you want, you're not a success. And of course, we spend our whole lives going after what we want. And this is interesting because it's kind of a trap, actually. This is a perfect breeding ground, perfect trap, perfect control ground for manipulation, for controlling everyone. So this is actually the trap of Satan, if I can use that word. It's the trap of the oligarchs. It's the trap of anyone in power. All you have to do is manipulate subtly people into unconsciously implanting wants and desires in them, dictating to them by very subtle means what they want, and then you've already set up the game that you can control people by. Because if you can control people by their wants, and people are trying to get what they want all the time, then right there you understand, and you've basically made that game. You are the maker, the controller of that game. So this new dimension that we're talking about goes way beyond the self-help ethic that was established, I think, in the 50s or 40s or 50s by the very first guys who pioneered this whole dream, which said, the model of success is to have a goal and shoot for it. And the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is the successful people will keep that goal and keep going for it until they get it. And they're basically dictating to them their own parameters by their own standards of what success is. And that's one level up from not doing anything, okay? But that's not, there's another potential here that is so much more powerful, and it's actually being free of the game itself, being totally free, breaking the bonds of this game of karma, being free from the net of karma, actually. And it's basically this. There's another level of I don't want to say success, because success is in that old paradigm. There's another level of advancement in this dream game. And you have to understand, if you had a dream where you had perfect control and could manifest anything at will, wouldn't that be amazing? Wouldn't that be grand? Can you imagine anything better than that? There is something better than that. And it is a dream in which you do not need to manifest anything from your own will in order to be happy. It's a dream in which you actually don't even need control. You don't even need to have things appear and have the conditions of your desires come true before you. You don't need any of that to manifest in order to be perfectly and ultimately as happy as you can be. Like, there is nothing that's going to make you happier. Well, how is that possible? You say, well, there is that state in which, okay, you set your controls, you set your goals, and you decide to be happy if those goals are met and those parameters are met. And if they're not, of course, you're not going to be optimally happy. You might just be a little bit happy, and you might be tragically unhappy as well, depending on by how much you've missed your mark according to your own standards. So that's one level where you set standards and then go for it, and that will determine your happiness. But what if you could play a game that you already decide from the get-go that you're going to be happy, perfectly happy, regardless of any goals set or any targets set. So now we don't have to take the old style ethic of get yourself a goal and shoot for it, work hard for it, and persist in it. And, you know, if you have enough determination, you'll eventually derive happiness from it, because you'll eventually succeed at it. Okay, that's one level, but isn't there something simpler here that we're missing? Like something way simpler. And like, this is the very best type of dream that we have. It's a dream where we have the opportunity. This is what I'm really trying to get to. In this dream, there's an opportunity to derive happiness, contentment, fulfillment from another source other than getting what we want. That is why this dream is so good, because it doesn't give us everything that we want all the time. This isn't a fantasy dream, a wish fulfillment dream in which our wishes are fulfilled as if by some genie. We can imagine a dream like that, where we just walk around in our environment and, you know, if we want a chocolate cake, poof, there's a chocolate cake right there. We want a beautiful lady before us, boom, there's a beautiful lady right there. And, you know, we want interesting conversation, boom. We want, like, to see the stars, we want to see the rings of Saturn, boom, suddenly we're on the rings of Saturn. Like, who would not think that that is the most ideal circumstance possible, that we're just granted every wish that we would want? Isn't that the highest pinnacle of, like, the best reality possible? Well, go into it and discover for yourself, no, there is another level there that's higher. And it is a level of surprise, actually, where we do not get to set the controls, but what we do get to set is the outcome. Now this is amazing. This is mind-blowing. This came out of the discussions that we had last night. Thank you so much for the guys that were there. And everyone that was there who helped me in coming to this understanding. Wow. This dream that we have going on here in our reality right now is not a fantasy dream. It's a dream in which allows the possibility for faith, and for trust to be our power sources and not desire, not want. Now, for you say faith and trust, all that means is you have the ability, if you wish, to accept that everything that you're given right now is exactly what you need and for your highest good. That's your choice to accept it or not. And if you don't choose to accept it, that's also your choice. This is the beautiful thing. If you do not choose to accept this ethos that will always make you maximally fulfilled and happy, then you are perfectly fine not to choose and accept that. But this is just like Gödel's theory, or the liar paradox. The incompleteness theorem of Gödel, which is like there is no end within the system itself. To derive meaning from the system, you need to make a decision about what values you're going to ascribe to the system from the get-go. So this upfront choice that we have is like a supersedent choice. This is an executive choice, executive power of choice. And if we decide to use this power, which we don't because we've been manipulated into following our wants all the time, and the current culture of humanity is completely and utterly mired in the culture of want. This is also the culture that is perfect for manipulation. And this is what I just hit on this morning, and I wanted to share this. Because as soon as you play the game where happiness equals getting what you want, this is a game of manipulation. Because who are you in that state of want? Obviously, that's your conditioned self. That's the self that's been conditioned to want this or that. And we can see that in operation all through society. Everyone can see it. It's sometimes difficult to see it in ourselves because sometimes we have lofty wants that masquerade as altruism, etc. All of that is the same game. Whether you want a sports car, or whether or not you want to help the homeless, or whether or not you want to figure out the nature of the universe, you want to unite with divine bliss. As long as you're coming from the game of want, it's the same game over and over again. But there's another way, and that's not to come from the game of want at all, but to see this dream that we're living right now as a dream in which there is a possibility. There's a possibility to play the game of wants, and go ahead and play. We've all played that. I've played that for all my life, and we all know where that goes. Okay? And it's fine. But there's also a possibility within that game to set a new parameter outside the system. And that new parameter is going to make this dream into a dream which is unimaginably fulfilling. Not only do you set your own goals, and according to what you can imagine, and then you complete that mission, 80% or 75%, or 90% if you're lucky, or 50% if you're unlucky, and then you're going to be happy based on the percentage you've succeeded. Well, how about this? Decide that you're going to be 100% happy no matter the outcome of anything, ever. And is that possible? This dream allows for that possibility. A little thing that you do require, though, is trust or faith. But those things are a choice. You can choose to have trust right now that this experience that you're having is perfect for you right now. Or you can choose not to have that framework. You can choose to have the first reference point as this is an experience that you were never really chose to come here anyway, and it was random chance. That's another one. Or it's basically dissatisfactory and you're scrambling to survive and scrambling for what you need. And those are all levels of the game that you can play. But ultimately, it's your choice. See, for a skeptic who says, no, that doesn't make sense, and I'm not going to accept what you're saying, Mark. I'm not going to accept this game that... See, I don't think that life is ideal right now. I can imagine in my brain that there could be a better life for me because, life could be more peaceful, where there could be less war, there could be less conflict, there could be less starvation, and I could be living in a better house too. I could be having a better relationship with my spouse. I could be having that dream job that I wanted and didn't get. So I can imagine a whole lot better than it is now. So I'm gonna say no to your idea, Mark, and I'm gonna decide that this is not the best circumstance for me, that there are better circumstances, and I'm gonna go for them and try to get them. Okay, go for it. Like that is one option within this game. That is one option within this game. And again, that is your choice. This just serves to prove the fact that it is your choice up front, where you're coming from, that will determine the nature of this game that we're playing. If you choose not to come at it from that angle, then you're not going to come at it from that angle. So really, this life, this human experience that we have now is precious because we have a rare glimpse, a rare doorway, a portal that we can open into something beyond our wildest wishes and wants. Something that is more fulfilling than what our wildest dream could be fulfilling for us. And that is in the acceptance of reality, this reality that we find ourselves in, as perfect right now. And it's a choice. We either judge it as perfect or imperfect. We've been conditioned to judge it as imperfect. I would hypothesize that this conditioning to judge it as imperfect is actually an attempt at control. It's a contempt. It's an attempt at control of people, because it is the perfect way to control people. You control what they want, you control their behavior, you control them. You cannot control anyone if their situation is already perfect and they don't want anything. That means something radical. It means even if you're hungry, you haven't eaten for a day or two, that you accept that hunger as perfect. That's perfect. Does it mean that you're going to stop wanting a grilled cheese sandwich? No, you accept that want as perfect as well. So your hunger is perfect, and the grilled cheese sandwich that you want is also perfect. Your desire to get that grilled cheese sandwich is perfect. Okay? If you lost your job and don't have money and you're sleeping in a park, that's perfect. And also your desire to get a job is perfect. Your disappointment that you lost your job is perfect. So this is a transcendent view here that's taking in all the travails and strife and desires and putting it into one big box that you decide is perfect. And therefore, that is the window, that is the possibility for maximal happiness at all times, regardless of conditions fulfilled or not. So the whole key here is that this is not a fantasy dream. You do not control the conditions, but what you do control is your experience. So the ability to determine and control your experience regardless of conditions is the opportunity offered to us now with this understanding. And this is the whole point that I just needed to share here. The opportunity to just as I said, the opportunity to be fulfilled totally is a choice. It's not based on conditions unless you yourself set those conditions. So there is an opportunity, a meta game here that's going on. There's a way out. There's a way to permanent fulfillment, constant fulfillment regardless of conditions. And ultimately it comes down to a choice. The choice is to realize that this dream is a dream that's better than a controlled dream. It's a dream that's uncontrolled, but allows you the potential to be totally fulfilled regardless of controls or conditions. You can go beyond controls and conditions. Imagine what that's like. Imagine if by some work of magic, you could have all your dreams and desires and wishes fulfilled instantly, regardless of any conditions. In other words, you don't set an object that is the object of your desire or your wish or your dream, but rather your wishes, your deepest wish and desire is just full and complete acceptance of what is now. And that gives you everything, total fulfillment that gives you. And it also gives you even more than you can imagine to be fulfilled. And this is the great thing. This is the great thing. That it's beyond your imagination. This dream is beyond even what you can imagine. That's why you can't control it. So basically, the relinquishing of the control and the staying open, and in that state of full acceptance and love and fulfillment and joy regardless of conditions, regardless of circumstances, is the opportunity. And it really is a choice that so few of us make in the positive. And so many of us fall in to conditioning and make it in the negative. And we just refuse to accept the truest beauty of this dream that's beyond, it's too much for us. It's beyond our control and beyond our design. Because what is in our control and in our design is limited by us. So of course, if we wanted something better than what we could even imagine, then it wouldn't be within the realm of what we were imagining. It would be something different. Welcome to life. Welcome to your waking life. This is reality. This is what's really going on right now. So it's your opportunity.
This is all barren. See you again.
See ya. Okay, this is your opportunity. It's up to you. But that's it. Have a good one.